Hey, what's going on? So I realized that I messed up bad on yesterday's video because I made the assumption that the Gargoyle boss was like Obor, the Hill Giant boss, in the way that you had to get a key for each kill, and obviously that isn't the case. You just get the key once and it's unlocked forever, and you can kill it as many times as you want when you're on a Gargoyle task like with Serb or Sire. But I'm leaving the video up anyways because I feel that it's good to be able to take a step back and laugh at yourself, which is the same reason why I have videos from years ago still up, and that's how I learn from my mistakes and move on. I know I said I'd have a hardcore Iron Man video today, but I need to redeem myself, which is why I'm making this video. I spent the day yesterday trying to get a Gargoyle task, and I spent around another 1000 Slayer points before I got the task. Throughout all the trips, I kept switching up my gear between Whip, Hosta, Fury, Torture, Defender, Spectral, and all that good stuff. But I personally like the Whip better than the Hosta for two reasons. First, because whenever you switch between the Blowpipe and the Hosta, for some reason the Hosta always goes back to Slash, so you gotta keep switching it back to Crush for every phase. And the second reason is that because the Whip is faster, you're able to get 2 hits at the start of phase 2 rather than just 1, assuming you time it correctly. And remember, you're hearing this from a guy using Carols, so please just take my opinions with a grain of salt because I'm sure Wooks or any other PVM gods are gonna figure out the most efficient gear and setups and whatnot. This Cloister Bell reminded me of the Pokemon Cloister, so I looked up the definition of Cloister, and now the name of that Pokemon makes so much more sense. During the whole time, I never died. I got teleported away once because of a max cape with 9 HP, but I definitely had more than enough supplies to finish the trip, and I could have easily healed if I didn't get tellied away. I was so mad too because I was right at the end of phase 4. Oh yeah, there's this guy here who was showing off the pet, and he said he got it at 46 KC, which is insane, because I think that the pet is probably like 1 out of 3K or 5K if I had to guess, and it looks so awesome. And you could change it between the 2 phases, between the flying gargoyle and the standing one, and whoever designed it did an amazing job. And honestly, everything with the boss is so amazing, and mad props to the Jagex team for this. The only 2 things that kinda bother me are at the start of the fight, the game makes you wait like an extra 5 to 10 seconds for the bosses to come out. And then on phase 3, when Dawn throws the orbs out, every time they grow, your character stops running towards them and you gotta click on them again. But seriously, they did an amazing job with this, and everything about the boss just fits in perfectly. One more thing, before we get into the loot, I want to show you the most clutch thing I've ever done on this game. And I've never been a PVMer, so I am so proud of myself for this. I'm so happy that I got the camera started in time. And this was on the last phase, 3rd kill of the trip. And as soon as I saw this was going to be a close one, I turned the recorder on. Like, do you see that? I know it may not be amazing to a lot of people, but I just can't believe I pulled that off. But let's get into the loot now, and if you want to skip ahead of showing each kill, I'll put the time to go to on the screen right now for you. Well, that is the end of the 50th kill, and I'll say I definitely improved since the first one. And for the first 10 or so, I was doing 1 per trip, and then I was able to do 2 per trip, and after around 25 or 30, I was doing consistent 3 per trip. If I had full Armadillo, I'm pretty sure I could have pulled off a 4 in 1 trip, because there were a few times where I finished 3 kills with some food and restores left. And if you had max gear and really tried with a bunch of brews and restores and didn't mess up, I bet it's possible to get even 5 in 1 trip. But the boss is still new, and like, who knows, maybe you could use Blood Barrage or something. I didn't even try it, but maybe it's possible to camp there even longer. So I got around 10 to 12 kills per hour, and they give 1800 Slayer XP per kill, which is probably slightly less than if you were to just go with the regular gargoyles, but then again, you don't have the chance of the pet there. As for the profit per hour, well, we're about to find that out in just a second. First off, granite dust is dropped every time, and I believe you get between 50 and 100. It's untradeable, and you can add it to a cannonball to increase its max hit from 30 to 35. We got 3,570 granite dust, and if you divide that by 50, we average 71.4 per kill. So I watched over every single clip, and I matched up everything, and it somehow fit exactly in my inventory, so I love when things work out like that. The boss does drop 4 to 6 mushroom potatoes pretty commonly, which heal 20 each, which I don't think were a common item before, but I bet they're going to crash and be used a lot more now. Here and there they drop different potions as an uncommon drop, including brews, so between those and the potatoes you may be able to add an extra kill or 2 per trip if you get lucky. And we're going to throw this in the price checker, and we can see that we made 2.8 mil. But we still need to subtract the cost of supplies. Between the super combat, ranging potion, restorers, food, and blowpipe charges, I'd say I spent around an average of 25k per kill, and if you multiply that by 50, that's 1.25 mil for 50 kills, which means we profited just over 1.5 mil. It took me 5 hours to do this, which means it's an average of 300k GP profit per hour, which is much lower than the regular gargoyles. So really the only reason to do this is if you're going for the pet, trying to stock up on granite dust, or just testing your RNG and hoping to get a unique drop, which we did not get any, by the way. Now keep in mind there are variables which could increase or decrease the average profit per hour. First off, you could factor in the odds of getting a unique drop, but we haven't been told the drop rate of it, and the price is constantly changing, so there's no way to know for sure. Although I don't think any of the items are really ever going to be worth that much. Another variable is your stats. I'm maxed, so that definitely helped me to do longer trips and increase my kills per hour. If you have lower stats, you might only be able to do 1 kill per trip and do half as many kills per hour as I did. And one more variable is the learning curve. Like I said before, it took me almost 30 kills before I felt I truly had the boss down and could do it without thinking about what I was doing. So if I knew what I was doing already for the first half of this test, I might have saved up to an hour compared to if I started the test knowing what I know now. So overall, if you're solely looking to train Slayer and make profit, this boss isn't for you. However, if you're a completionist looking to get pets, or an Iron Man trying to get unique drops, then you may have a very good reason to come here. But I would highly recommend trying it at least once so you can really appreciate all the time and effort that went into creating this boss. I've never been much of a PVMer, but I'm trying to get into it, and as I said before, my gear setups and switches I had on may have been very far off from efficient, especially since it's only been a couple days since release now. But that is going to be all for this video. If you have any questions or corrections about the boss, please let me know in the comments. I also made a Discord channel, which I'll link in the description, which is a great place to make friends and meet some fellow scapers. And also feel free to stop by my clan chat Mudkip anytime to say hi. And I just want to thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope it helped you out, but as always, I will see you again tomorrow.